Well, how you doing there? My name is Catherine Perry, and this is the Simply Chatting podcast, where we talk about all things mental health, business, and everything in between, basically. We're just going to simply chat. And that's why I named it that way, because I just want to just have a good old moment talking about what I want to talk about. And if you haven't heard or watched the other podcast, please go and check that out. I'll link it somewhere in the description if you're watching this on YouTube. And if you're not, you're just listening in, make sure you check out my other videos and other things that are on my social medias. I have tons, so you'll have to figure it all out. You can also check out my Instagram. It's catherineperry.co, and on there you'll find a wee link for everything, all right? So now that we got that out of the way, let's get into it. The topic I want to talk about today is scrolling our lives away. And what does that mean? So I was thinking day in and day out, we've just been wanting more, wanting to do more in life, but you're constantly scrolling. You're sitting there scrolling your life away, and you're looking at other people's life, and you're not doing what you want to do. And that's basically what I've been doing for the past 2 months. I've been scrolling my life away, which is kind of hard to say out loud because it's just been the way it is. I can't do much more than what I was doing. And so I was sitting there and watching from behind the scenes. And so that's the topic for today. We're going to talk about this. On this, we're trying to normalize being normal. And I just want to get that out there. Just being normal it's fine. You don't have to be crazy. You don't have to be, going off doing crazy things. Normal is fine. So what are we going to chat about today? So basically, we're going to chat about social media and balancing your life. Does social media help or hinder your life? How to use social media to grow your business. When you're scrolling through Facebook and social media, what's the point? Are you being productive with your time? And does everyone's life seem better than yours online? Those are the topics for today, and we're going to dive into those right now. So let's talk about social media and balancing that life. So your life is unique, and everybody's life is different. And I feel like it's important to note that right off the bat, because I'm seeing people on social media and Facebook, and they're doing this for the week, and they're doing that for vacation, and you're literally sitting there saying, well, I can't do anything. I have to stay here. So you're scrolling your life away by just like looking at other people's lives and wishing you could do what they are doing, right? So social media and balancing that life, the first thing that you need to do is prioritize. What are you doing it for? Prioritize what's important in your life. Is it your family? Is it your business? Is it your dog? Is it your cat? Is it your rabbit called Donut? I don't know. He's sleeping right now. He's just kind of like, what's going on here? Why is she sitting there and talking into a microphone while I'm talking to it because I'm having a good time? Donut. Jeez. So you need to prioritize things. We got a little sidetracked there. You need to prioritize things and make sure that you have what's important in your life, because that's the main thing right now. If you've learned anything from this past year, what are your priorities and what's important? You need to organize your life. You need to organize and make sure you have things in order. You can't just sit there and expect things to happen. Social media is great to scroll through, but you're not doing anything. So organize your life. If you want to actually balance social media and your life and enjoy doing things, then you need to organize. So not necessarily is everybody's organization the same. So everybody's organization might be a little different. You might have a pile full of books right there in front of you, exactly what I have right there. If you can't see it, that's fine. That's good. But you know what? That organization, I understand where everything is. So at least I've organized and I know what's going on. I have a little board behind me, and I said to myself, I'll write everything down. Not necessarily will I get everything done, but at least I have an idea of what I want to do. It's about trying to organize your life a little bit at a time. And balancing social media and life is not easy. And there's no perfect balance, because just so you know there's no perfect balance. If you're expecting that to happen, well, I think your expectations are a little off, because balance isn't easy. It is not easy. Whether you're doing social media or while you're doing a business at home, whatever it is, it's not easy. So saying to yourself, you're a human being. There's nothing that you can do aside from being yourself. And the fact is that there's not going to be a perfect moment. You're not always going to be perfect. Like today, I'm having a great day. I'm doing several videos and a podcast, and I'm saying to myself, well, this is great. I got some makeup on, a decent shirt. I'm acting like, I'm doing my thing. But tomorrow it might be a wee bit different. Now, I'll say this morning, it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy getting the kids ready for school. It wasn't easy getting things going. And the motivation, it was not there. I said to myself, I'm not motivated to do these videos today. I didn't want to do them. And that's when I came into this and I said, I'll just do it. So I just decided in my head I had to do it. So you're a human being and you have to realize that. So does social media help or hinder your life? Like, does it help or hinder you? So the first thing we need to talk about is, why the heck are you scrolling? Why are you scrolling right now? Are you looking through your phone and you're thinking to yourself, oh, look at this, look at that. And then you're starting to compare yourself, right? So you're scrolling your life away by comparing yourself, and you're also seeing what everybody else is doing and saying, oh, well, that person's got that going on. I should be doing something. It's a motivation for sure. It definitely will help you motivate yourself, but not at the expense of being jealous and like saying, oh, I wish I had that. Because no, you don't wish you had that, because who knows what's going on behind the scenes. So for me to do this podcast, you could say, oh, I wish I could do that podcast. But don't wish that on yourself, because there's things that go on behind the scenes, like mentally and then physically and health-wise. Like, there's things that you don't see. So why the heck are you scrolling? That's the main thing. You need to ask yourself that each time you go through that phone of yours, and say to yourself, why the heck are you scrolling? Next thing that you need to do is, do you really need that app? Do you need that app? Come on now. Do you need it? Ask yourself that. Now, there are a few apps that are on my phone and I've deleted. I used to have Snapchat for certain things, and I was like, why the heck is it even on my phone? Deleted it. Didn't need it. Now, sometimes I ask myself, why the heck do I have TikTok and all the other apps that I have? But sometimes I feel like I want to delete Facebook, and then I'm like, well, no, I don't know. There's this weird connection with Facebook that I have, and I'm saying to myself, sometimes I want to delete it, but then I don't, and then I do. I think it's more family connections, you know what I mean? So I think that's what you need to ask yourself. Does this app really help me? Or am I actually doing this for the enjoyment, or is it making me stressed out? I think that's key to ask yourself. So stop doing it if it makes you unhappy. Did you get that? Did you catch that? Just stop doing it if it makes you unhappy. I tell you, that's why I deleted a couple of apps. I'm like, it doesn't make me happy. Why the heck do I have it? Now, another app that I might delete is Clubhouse, because I literally never go on it. And I said to myself, there's reasons why I downloaded, when you'll hear all those big gurus are saying to themselves, download this, download that. And I've said it at times too. And I say to myself, why the heck am I doing this? Why, what's the point of it? If you don't even use it, why is it on there? So stop using it if it makes you unhappy. So maybe it's, Facebook for a time, or Instagram. It's just taking you down. Oh, a few months ago it was TikTok for me. I had it on off my phone for a while, because there was just so much craziness going on in the world. For goodness sake, world, what are you doing out there? And so there was just so much craziness, and I just kept getting the negative stuff on your For You page, basically. I said to myself, I'm going to delete this. I can't take it anymore. So I deleted it off my phone for a good few months, and then I put it back on. Now, the app has changed a fair bit, which is nice. So it's not always putting the negative stuff up. There's quite a few funnies that come around there, And I started up on doing my TikToks again just for fun. And if it gets to too much again, I will stop. You know what? I'm never going to be a perfect person. It's never going to be a consistent light for me, because I know there's times where I'm going to have to focus on myself. And that's important to note too. As I would say, helps or hinders. I would say if it helps or hinders you, you need to ask yourself that too. Does it help me, or does it hinder me? Plain and simple. That's all I'm going to say on that topic. So how to use social media to grow your business. Now, this topic I brought into this, even though, we're talking about scrolling our lives away. But, social media does help us at times, right? And that's why I wanted to bring this topic up. Especially if you're a business owner like myself. I use social media a lot, and I haven't really focusing it on my business too much. I just do it for the fun of it now. Because, when you get to down that spiral where you're focusing on the numbers, it gets a little too much. And that's part of my business. I focus on the numbers. But there's numbers for yourself and numbers for others that you focus on. For me, I love focusing on other people's numbers. I can't focus on my own and then start stressing out about it. I start stressing out. So there's a difference for me in my head. It's just different to mindset whenever I go into things, right? So if you want to grow and use social media wisely, that's my first main point. You can't expect to just go into social media and do all of it. You could, I like Gary Vee. I like watching his stuff and really getting into his stuff. But there's a little, moment where you're like, I can't do it all. I'm a human being. There's some people that just don't have the resources or the mentality for it all. So that's why I constantly say on my channel is to pick a couple. Pick a couple that are really going to focus in on your focus audience, your audience, or your target audience, should I say. So if you want to grow and use social media, use it wisely. Sometimes we jump from one to the other, and I think that's hard for me mentally. I think that's hard for me, because I'm constantly going from one thing to another. And I've talked to my husband about this. I go from one thing to another, and I'm constantly saying to myself, now, I don't have a direction because I'm interested in so many things. And I think that comes down to social media as well. But I think that's the mindset of the world now. Maybe that's what it is. Like you're constantly thinking, oh, this is good. This is good. And I sometimes, say to myself, that person that can focus in on one thing for the rest of their lives, it's really cool that they can do that. Because my mind is all over the place sometimes. So, yeah, use social media wisely. Find the thing that really works for you. Who's your audience? Who's your audience is important to note too, because your audience is not necessarily going to be on, say you're going for the older generation. They're not necessarily going to be on Instagram, are they? The majority of the older generation is on Facebook now. I would say every generation is on every app, but there's a bit of a difference. Not a lot of them are on Snapchat. More of them are on TikTok now. You'll see a lot of the older generation. And I say older generation, I don't know what the older generation cutoff is because I'm 30 and I could say to you, I'm old, but that's another story for another day. But figure out your target audiences, and that will really help you narrow down how many apps you want to download to use for your business. And then you need to say to yourself, are you researching or just blankly scrolling through and filling void? You want to fill a void right now, your anxiety's high and you're scrolling, or it's just an awkward moment and you're scrolling, and then you get this downward spiral. You're like, well, what the heck am I doing? That sometimes, I've heard this before, and I think this is true, is that whenever you're anxious or something, the phone comes out. It's an automatic connection, so you get to do something. Whenever I'm nervous, I will take out the phone. And we never used to have the phone to fill that nervous void. We're in the moment. We had to figure it out in the moment, right? Now we're filling the void by going onto a high anxiety place. We're going to the spot where it makes you most anxious. And then another big question is, are you addicted? Are you addicted to social media? Are you doing it because you're wanting to get all the views and you want to see what the next, and you want to see that red number come up on your screen? Are you addicted? There's a few shows that you can watch. What is the one? It's on Netflix. I can't remember the name. If you know, let me know in the comments if you're watching this on YouTube. What the movie is, or the TV show is on Netflix, but it talks about the digital, how it draws you in. And the question asked is, are you addicted? Are you constantly thinking about it? Do you wake up in the morning and pick that phone up? I don't wake up in the morning. Well, sometimes I actually do. That's a lie. I think sometimes I still do it, and it's hard for you not to do it. But do you wake up in the morning and you go straight to your phone and then the world's over? Or you right before bed, you're looking at your social media. I've stopped doing it before bed now, I'll tell you that. I don't do it anymore. I don't look at social media. I don't look at my emails because there's a few times where there's just been a crazy thing happen and I just start to worry about it the whole night, and that's all I think about. So are you being productive with your time? I think if you are not being productive by scrolling, then you're not being productive with your time. That's plain and simple, right? Being productive as a person is not easy. You see all these productive day in your lives, and I try to do them on my channel to motivate myself to get off the couch and get off my arse and do something, right? But that's hard because it's just not easy and attainable to do it every day. So the reality is, on my Simply Catherine channel, I won't be doing productive videos every day because not everybody's going to be productive. And that's the key that's the key for me. I need to start sharing the ups and downs. Not always a perfect person, right? And that's not attainable for anybody. You only have so much time, and what are you doing in that time? Everybody has the same amount of time. That's really important to note. Everybody has the same amount of time. And if you take half an hour scrolling through Facebook and wondering what everybody else is doing and thinking, oh, how can I be like them? Then you're not being productive. You're taking that mindset. You're scrolling your life away. You're thinking, this is it. And so I will tell you, it's been hard the past couple of months because I've been doing that. And so literally sitting, although there's times where I cannot do anything else but that because with certain situations, right? But you know what? That's the way it was. And I figured, and I had to take a look at myself and say, well, what am I doing this for, right? So we all have the same amount of time. And if someone says, oh, I'm so busy, well, we all have the same amount of time. I do at times struggle with that because there's some voids in my day where I could be doing something, but I'm like, that means I need that mental time just to break it up. I actually do. I have those times where I'm like, I need to take an hour just to myself. So if I don't take an hour to myself, I will stress out the whole day. And my anxiety is so high. I think I have high functioning anxiety where everything needs to be, I need to be doing something. So when I'm really stressed out, I'll go clean something. I'll start cleaning things up and, getting things cleaned up and ready. So it distracts my mind. So for some reason that helps me. But if I'm not doing anything, I'm just standing there. I'm like, I literally will like stand there and like, I need to do something. I'll literally say in my head, I need to do something right now. So to get back to the point, it's just how do you use your time? Are you using it wisely? Now, the big key point here is, does everybody's life seem better online than yours? Now, this is where the scrolling your life away comes into play. Sometimes we scroll because everybody else's life seems better. They have this perfect thing, they have the perfect picture, or maybe it's the opposite. They have the negative come out, and they're so good that they're letting it out. I don't think I could let that out. I don't think I could tell anybody. It's good for them that they can do that. Like things like that come into my mind all the time. But we only see one side of the picture. Every time you look at a picture online or a video online, you only see one side of the picture. The reality is, I had a rough morning. Like I said, it was not good before dropping the kids off. It's just because my daughter was freaking out about clothes and I was freaking out about, my daughter freaking out about the clothes. And it's just this vicious cycle, right? So we only see the one picture. The reality is social media can create this facade that life is good. Or opposite, it can be the world is in turmoil, right? So we're constantly seeing things that, we don't want to see or we do want to see. The world has always been chaotic. It's just we see way more of it now. So just remember that. The world has always been a chaotic place. And I think it's important to note that everybody's like, oh, the world's ending. No, the world's crazy. But at times I'm like, well, yeah, it's crazy because the world's always been like that. There's always been something going on in it. We just haven't been able to hear about it, And I think social media has really brought us into a smaller world. We see everything, And so don't freak out. Take a deep breath, put the phone away, and go do something that you enjoy. Obviously, if it's chaos in the world, you can't really not think about it and worry a wee bit about it, but it's the way it is. So that's my podcast for today, and I honestly loved doing this. It was a really good way to talk and just let things out and give you some points and talk, simply chatting about stuff, And I think that's important for me to do. Let it out and talk to you about the things that come through my mind. Sometimes your mind just gets confused and gets befuddled, and the things that you think about don't really get out into the world and you don't think they're important. So I wanted to do this, so I'm going to do it more. Anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this podcast today. If you did and you're watching on YouTube, make sure you comment below and let me know. And just hit that subscribe button and like it and share it and do all that jazz. And if you're listening on the podcast, please remember to share it with another person in your life, because sometimes there's a little points that may help someone. Anyways, guys, don't forget to create adventure and live inspire. Have a good one.